Hello everybody, my name is Caitlin Nicholson and this is my classroom management plan. So first day welcome. These are the following rules that I would expect my students to follow. Remember the number that I number them, and then you'll find a desk that corresponds to your number. This number will also be their number for the year to make grading a little bit easier for me. And we'll need it for their regular classroom book, their Chromebook, and their calculator. And then once they are seated, I will pass out the About Me sheet, and then attendance will be taken by their number. So then I want to have the students share their About Me to the classroom. I think this is a good way for students to have a sort of icebreaker. Walking into class procedures, no phones, no earphones should be out. Write your homework number questions that you had from the night before on the board in the designated area. And then once you have done both of those things, to start the warm-up. So what comes after the warm-up? We will answer all homework questions that students have. Then they will turn in their homework by the end of the period once they have figured out how to work through those problems. We will go over the warm-up, and then we'll take a pencil and paper out. This is an example of what my whiteboard would look like. It would have the agenda, what we're doing Monday through Friday, and then also to the left there would be a spot for students to put their homework questions. The next procedure to teach the students would be the homework bin. The homework bin would have periods 1 through 7, and each period would put their homework in their designated area. Notes. So notes must be done in pencil. They must be organized, they must write down the examples, and there will be a quarterly notebook check that will go towards their grade. So what should their notes look like? I think it's really important that I give my students an example of what I expect their notes to look like so that they know the grading scale a little bit better. What should their paper heading look like? I want to help give my students a sense of organization so that they can find their notes easily and quickly, and then it also makes it a little bit easier for me to see which section they're on in the homework problems. Absent box. So I will have an absent box that will have the week work in it, and any absent student can go there and find the plan for the day, and that way it helps them catch up quicker. And any worksheets that we might have done are also in the absent box. So there is our absent box. Calculators and Chromebooks, they are to be treated with respect, and they must be returned and accounted for before the bell rings. This is how our Chrome cart should look. Makes me crazy when the computers aren't plugged in because in the next period cannot use them. So it's important that the students make sure to plug them in after every period. Bell rules. Tardy bell. They must be seated or they are tardy, and they must be working on their warm-up. I will give them 5 minutes at the end of every period to clean up and get organized. And when the bell rings, I will dismiss them when their areas and all supplies are put away and accounted for. Books must be accounted for before the bell rings as well, in number order, so that it makes it easier for me to make sure they're all there. And students are only to take their number for their designated book, Chromebook, or calculator. Classroom phone. So if my phone rings, I expect the students to be silent and polite and use the following phrase: Miss Nicholson's room, student speaking, followed by she will be right with you. That way it helps the students know what to do if my phone rings, and it also helps me out if I'm unable to get to the phone. Late work. Fill out late work sheet and then staple it to their work. It helps me stay organized and also holds the students accountable for work that they did late and helps me for any parent-teacher conferences that might need to be made. If students finish early, they can always start on their homework. And if they're caught up on everything, we can always look into an alternative assignment for them to start. So getting students' attention, I will count down from 3. If the noise level is too loud, I will count down and say the noise level is too loud, and I expect students to bring it back down to an appropriate volume. I do a lot of group work, so this is really important that students know how to bring it back down to appropriate classroom level. Restroom breaks. They get 3 restroom breaks per quarter unless medical reasoning. They will get rewards for not using their restroom breaks for the quarter, and there's only 1 student that is allowed to go at a time. Emergency procedures. When an emergency arises, listen for teacher instruction, stay calm, leave their things where they are unless otherwise directed. Number 1 in the classroom will grab this classroom sign for evacuation drills, and number 15 will grab the classroom binder that will help me take roll of students. Student jobs. So every week, 1 student will be responsible for ensuring classroom cleanliness. So it'll rotate every week, so every student gets a chance. And it includes calculator, Chromebook, book check, and general classroom cleanliness. Paper collecting and returning. Collecting papers, all papers should be passed up in order and then to the right. And returning papers, the first person in each row will pass back those papers. This is a benefit for students sitting in number order in rows. So for my transitions, I want students to learn to I want students to listen, think, and then react. Taking a test procedures, eyes on their own paper, no exceptions to cheating, no phones, no earphones, and they must show their work. Infractions. They'll get 2 warnings before they get an infraction. The 3rd warning, the infraction will be issued, and then after that, your parent will be called and notified. Classroom discussions, always be polite, listen to what your classmate is saying, and rude comments or poking fun of others will not be tolerated. So it's never okay to make fun of a student for his or her opinion, and this classroom is always a welcoming environment, so students bullying will never be allowed. Group work and unfinished classwork. Keep their voices down, work together. Unfinished work should be back on the desk, and then they will finish the next day if they need more time for the activity. Parent notes can always be placed directly on my desk. That way I am able to see them, and also to let me know that you left a note on my desk. Student correcting work is never going to be allowed or tolerated. Work will only be corrected by yourself or me. My teacher aide responsibilities would include, but not limited to, cleaning, helping the substitutes figure out the procedures for the classroom, getting copies of things that I might need, and working on your own homework. Classroom visitors, listen for instruction from me and be on their best behavior. Be polite if they ever ask you a question and to stay on task. Consistency and communication, always to have a weekly schedule posted, let students know about upcoming tests and quizzes, and make sure to up their grades as promptly as I can. Parents will be contacted after the 3rd problem with the student. Parents can always call or email me, and I plan to keep communication through Dojo as well. Students and anxieties, it's important to understand concepts before the test, so that helps with student anxiety. I like to give them a study guide and offer lunchtime tutoring. Everybody has their own struggles in math, so it's important to take the time to work through them and understand them so that it doesn't come back later to haunt them. Substitutes. We should always help substitutes with any questions they have. Be kind and respectful. Have a substitute report for each period, and make sure that the binder for the substitute is easy to access and to read. New student protocol to seat them according to number. Create a buddy system with a successful student already in the class to help give them a friend and also teach them procedures and make them feel welcome in the new school environment. Angry students. It's important to be patient and understanding, never act out of anger, and keep your professionalism. And try to help the student work through the issue. Give them time to calm down and then reapproach them and try to help them work through that problem that they may be having. Death of a student or parent. Make sure students understand my classroom is a safe place and that they can always talk to me, never to pry, but always to be open and welcoming. Parent-teacher conferences. It's important that I am prepared and I have student work and any referrals that I may have or have not given the student out. And let the parents help. Let the parents help intervene with the student and try to get that student back on track so that they're reaching their full. Keeping students on task. It's important to involve them in lecture. Random name calling kind of holds them accountable, and then daily group work allows them to be interactive with their peers. So my first day school script is as follows. Welcome, my name is Miss Nicholson, and my name will be available on the board. I'm currently a student at the University of Laverne, and this is my first year teaching. Laverne has prepared me well for this upcoming year through student teaching, professional development, and classwork. My hobbies include competitive shooting, trail riding horses, traveling, and hanging out at the lake. I am honored and excited to be your teacher. I hope to give everyone a positive learning experience and will always be available to help you succeed. I cannot wait to hear a little bit about each of you.